Hello, today I will be teaching you the fundamentals of Root. We will be going over 12 steps. One, I will be teaching you how to set up the map before you start a game of Root. I will be teaching you how to win Root. I will be teaching what clearings are, how to set up your factions, what improvement cards are, how items work, what action cards do, and how to play them. I will talk about what birdsong, daylight, and evening means. I will talk about when you rule a clearing. I will talk about how to move in Root, how you brawl or battle, basically how combat works in Root, and I will be talking about drawing cards. All of these are the fundamentals you need to know about Root before you can sit down and play a game of it. Step 1. Map setup. This is the map. To set up the map, you will first have to place the items on each of their marker. These are the items, and beneath them are the ruin markers. So we place the items on their markers and place the ruin markers on theirs. Ruin markers are the white squares with an R inside of them. That is all you have to do to set up the map. Step 2. Victory conditions. How do you win a game of Root? There are two ways to win. One is to get 30 victory points. These are the victory point markers that tell you how many victory points your faction has. The second way to win is dominance cards. More on how to use dominance cards later. Step 3. Clearings. So, what is a clearing? Here you can see all the clearings. All the big spots on the map are clearings. This is a clearing, this is a clearing, this is a clearing, and this is a clearing. All of these are clearings. Now, there are 3 different kind of clearings. This is a mouse clearing because it has a mouse icon. This is a fox clearing because it has a fox icon. And this is a bunny clearing because, well, you guessed it, it has a bunny icon. That's basically it for clearings. These are also referred to as suits. Step 4. Faction setup. So, the faction setup is pretty much simple. You look under your faction board, and in the bottom left corner it says which order you have to do your individual faction setups. It is indicated by the letters in the parentheses, and it is in alphabetic order. In this case, the Marquise Cat has A, so they would go first, and the Irie Dynasty has B, so they would go second, and etc. Step 5. Improvement cards.
So these are 4 different improvement cards. Now, improvement cards are different from item cards since these are crafted and then used as described on the card. Usually, when you craft an item card, you would get the item, get the victory points, but for these fellas, you put them down here. And then you can cash them in as they say on the card.
Step 6. Item cards.
So these are 4 different item cards. As you can see, they're from each of their own suit, which doesn't really matter. What you need to address is what they cost in crafting. And you can see that in the top right corner or the bottom left corner of the card. First, you get the items off your dedicated crafting or item card, and then you get the victory point according to that card. And then you take the item and place it down here. Now, the only thing about crafting is you can only have a maximum of 4 items in your inventory. Then someone like the Vagabond would come and get it.
Step 7, action cards.
These are the two types of action cards in the game. We have ambush and we have dominance. Ambush are cards you use when you get attacked. You can read more about them on the cards. They have to, of course, match the suit that they're used in. The dominance card, I'll show you how to use now. So whenever you use a dominance card, you have to declare it. And after you've used the dominance card, you take your pin and remove that from the victory point scoreboard. You can no longer win via victory points. You have to win against dominance cards. So this is a way to, like, if you're going for dominance cards, you better be sure you win the next round. If you discard a dominance card that is used for its suit, you put it up in the discarded dominance card section so that other players can actually use it and you can use it later in the game.
Step 8, birdsong, daylight, and evening.
So on your faction board here, there are actually a bunch of different things, but what we need to worry about right now is birdsong, daylight, and evening. Now, I see a lot of players getting confused about what these different types are. They're actually just the phases of your turn. So birdsong is like morning, you start here. Then in daylight, you go to daylight and do those actions in order if there are numbers. And then evening to finish off your turn. You do whatever it says there. A lot of people get confused by these.
Step 9, ruling.
So let me take a minute to explain about ruling. This is probably going to be the longest section of the video. Here you see warriors from the Marquis Cat and the Irie Dynasty. So what counts towards ruling? Your warriors count and your buildings count. Tokens, however, indicated with round figures are not considered a unit, so they don't contribute to ruling a clearing. Remember, there are different kinds of traits for the different faction that can infect when they rule and how they rule. An example of this would be lizards, which if they have a garden in there, they rule, or Irie Dynasty, which has the Lords of the Forest, which means if you're tied, you rule that clearing. Here's an example of when they rule and when they don't rule. So right now, the Marquis Cat rules this clearing, but if I move in the Irie Dynasty here, they would actually rule this because they're 3 and their trait does that when you're tied, you now rule this. But for good sake, let's just put 4 in there. The Irie Dynasty is really strong at getting far, but this isn't about the factions. And when you're tied with someone, that means no one rules that clearing. No one can build there, no one can move to or from it unless they have, movement next.
Step 10, movement.
So to move in route, you need to either rule the clearing you're going to or rule the clearing you're going from. Here are some examples of that.
Step 11, combat.
So combat in Brood works as follows. You can battle as many times as your faction allows, of course within your action span. If you attack someone, you roll the die, and out of the 2, you get the highest number, and that's the damage you deal. Now, you can't deal more damage than you have warriors, so if you hit a 3 and you only have 2 warriors, you can only do a maximum of 2 damage. Each damage indicates a dead enemy. The enemy, of course, gets the lower number of those 2 die, and that's what the damage they deal to you. And of course, they can also only hit for the number of warriors they have corresponding to the die. So if they have 1 warrior, they cannot deal more than 1 damage. Before you roll the die is when you would apply your ambush. So if I attack you, you would then use your ambush to get rid of some of my guys before I even get to roll off, which means you can lower the potential damage to your units with the ambush card.
And finally, step 12, drawing cards.
So most faction would have their drawing card in the evening event on your turn. Some have them in the daylight. I don't believe anyone has it in the birdsong. But so what it says here, draw 1 card plus 1 card per funny card showing. Now, the funny cards are showing whenever you build a building, they can pop off, and whenever you do something special within your faction. It's different from every kind of faction. It also means that if you say draw 1 card, you then add the amount of these funny cards showing. So I would draw 1 plus 1 of these showing cards, I would draw 2 cards. Now I can only have a maximum of 5, so after I've drawn, I can choose which ones I want to keep if I have over 5 at the end of my turn. Only at the end of your turn, I want to emphasize that. Wow, an entire 10-minute video. I don't do a lot of these, so enjoy. It's been a couple of minutes for you guys, but it's been over a year for me. I suck at making videos because I'm so lazy. Anyway guys, I really want to thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something here today. And I will probably not see you in the next one until a couple of months because I suck at uploading. See ya.